In the vast tapestry of life on Earth, there's a process so remarkable, so essential, that without it, our world would be unrecognizable. This process is called photosynthesis. It's how plants turn sunlight into food. Imagine a world without plants, no trees, no grass, no flowers. It's hard to picture, isn't it? That's because plants are everywhere. They're in our gardens, our parks, our forests. They're even in the tiniest cracks in the pavement. And all of these plants, from the mightiest oak to the smallest blade of grass, are doing something amazing. They're making their own food from sunlight. Photosynthesis is like a plant's kitchen, but instead of pots and pans, it uses sunlight, water and air to cook up its meals. The plant takes in sunlight through its leaves, it absorbs water through its roots, and it breathes in carbon dioxide from the air. Then, using these ingredients, it makes glucose, a type of sugar that gives the plant energy to grow. But photosynthesis does more than just feed plants. The oxygen we breathe, that's a byproduct of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis isn't just important, it's vital. At the heart of photosynthesis is sunlight. For plants, sunlight is much more than that. It's their main source of energy. It's what powers their entire existence. Without sunlight, plants couldn't survive, and neither could we. But how exactly do plants use sunlight? Well, they have special structures in their leaves called chloroplasts. These chloroplasts are like tiny solar panels. They capture the energy from sunlight and store it. This stored energy is what the plant uses to make its food. It's a bit like how we use solar panels to power our homes and buildings. But plants have been doing it for millions of years. Not all sunlight is the same, though. Sunlight is made up of different colors. We can see this when we look at a rainbow. Plants use some colors of light more than others. They especially like red and blue light. Green light, on the other hand, is mostly reflected. That's why leaves look green to us. Now let's talk about a very special substance that makes photosynthesis possible. It's called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what gives plants their green color, but it does much more than that. It's the key player in capturing sunlight and turning it into energy. You could say that chlorophyll is nature's green superhero. Chlorophyll is found in the chloroplasts we talked about earlier. It's a pigment, which means it's a substance that gives color to things. But chlorophyll doesn't just sit there looking pretty. It's hard at work all day long. When sunlight hits a leaf, chlorophyll springs into action. It captures the light energy and starts a chain of chemical reactions that will eventually turn that energy into food for the plant. Chlorophyll molecules are shaped in a very specific way. This shape allows them to absorb certain colors of light very effectively. It's like chlorophyll has a special net that catches red and blue light while letting green light slip through. Now that we understand the key players, sunlight and chlorophyll, let's look at how the process of photosynthesis actually works. It's a complex dance of light, water and air that happens in tiny steps. But don't worry, we'll break it down into simpler terms. Think of it as a recipe that plants follow to make their food. The first step is light absorption. When sunlight hits a leaf, the chlorophyll in the leaf's cells captures this light energy. This is like turning on the stove in our kitchen. Next, the plant takes in carbon dioxide from the air through tiny pores in its leaves called stomata. At the same time, it draws up water from its roots. These are the ingredients for our recipe. Using the energy from the sunlight, the plant breaks apart the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. It then combines the hydrogen with the carbon dioxide to create glucose, a type of sugar. The oxygen that was left over from splitting the water molecules, that's released back into the air for us and other animals to breathe. Section 5, From Sunlight to Sugar, A Plant's Journey. Let's dive a bit deeper into how plants use the glucose they produce. After all, making food is only half the story. How plants use this food is equally fascinating. The glucose created through photosynthesis is the plant's primary source of energy. It's like the plant's version of the food on our plates. Some of this glucose is used immediately by the plant for energy. This energy powers all the plant's life processes, growing new leaves, extending roots, producing flowers, and so on. But plants are clever. They don't use all the glucose at once. Instead, they store some of it for later use. One way plants store glucose is by converting it into starch. Starch is a more complex form of sugar that the plant can break down later when it needs energy. This is similar to how our bodies store extra energy as fat. Section 6. Breathing life into the world oxygen production. One of the most amazing things about photosynthesis is that it doesn't just benefit the plants. It's also crucial for life on Earth as we know it. This is because of a very important byproduct of photosynthesis, oxygen. Yes, the same oxygen that we and most other animals need to breathe. It's produced by plants as they go about their daily business of making food. Remember how plants split water molecules as part of photosynthesis? When they do this, they keep the hydrogen to make glucose, but they don't need the oxygen. So they release it into the air. It's like the plant is exhaling just as we do when we breathe out. But while our breath is mostly carbon dioxide, the plant's breath is pure life-giving oxygen. The amount of oxygen produced by plants is staggering. A mature leafy tree can produce as much oxygen in a season as 10 people inhale in a year. Imagine a whole forest or the millions of trees in the Amazon rainforest. Section 7. Plants. The foundation of ecosystems. Plants don't just produce oxygen, they play a crucial role in ecosystems in many other ways too. An ecosystem is a community of living things interacting with each other and their environment. In almost every ecosystem on land, plants form the foundation. They're what ecologists call primary producers, the organisms that can make their own food from sunlight. This ability to produce their own food makes plants the start of most food chains. Herbivores eat plants, carnivores eat herbivores, and so on. Even if an animal doesn't eat plants directly, its food source can usually be traced back to plants somehow. For example, a lion might eat a zebra which eats grass. Without the grass, there would be no zebras, and without zebras, no lions. It's all connected, and it all starts with plants. Plants also provide habitats for countless other species. Think of a mighty oak tree. It's not just a tree, it's a whole world. Birds nest in its branches, insects live in its bark, fungi grow on its roots, and small mammals might make their homes in hollows in its trunk. Section 8. The global impact of photosynthesis. The impact of photosynthesis goes far beyond individual plants or even ecosystems. It affects our entire planet in profound ways. One of the most significant impacts is on the Earth's atmosphere. Over millions of years, photosynthesis has dramatically changed the composition of our atmosphere, making it suitable for life as we know it. When life first appeared on Earth, there was very little oxygen in the atmosphere. It was mostly carbon dioxide and other gases, but as plants and other photosynthetic organisms evolved, they started releasing oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Over time, this oxygen built up in the atmosphere. Today, oxygen makes up about 21% of our atmosphere. This change made it possible for animals like us to evolve. Photosynthesis also plays a crucial role in the Earth's carbon cycle. Plants take in carbon dioxide from the air and use it to make glucose. This process removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Section 9. Protecting our green friends. Given how important plants are to life on Earth, it's crucial that we protect them. Unfortunately, many of our activities are putting plants under threat. Deforestation, pollution, and climate change are all having serious impacts on plant life around the world. If we want to continue benefiting from the amazing process of photosynthesis, we need to take action to protect plants. One of the biggest threats to plants is habitat loss. As human populations grow and expand, we're cutting down forests and converting natural habitats into farmland or urban areas. This doesn't just affect the plants directly removed, it also fragments habitats, making it harder for remaining plants to thrive. Many plant species are now endangered because of habitat loss. Protecting natural areas and creating wildlife corridors can help combat this problem. Climate change is another major threat to plants. As temperatures rise and weather patterns change, many plants are struggling to adapt. Some are shifting their ranges, moving to cooler areas. Others are changing when they flower or produce fruit. Section 10. The wonder of plants, our silent guardians. As we come to the end of our journey through the world of photosynthesis, let's take a moment to marvel at the wonder of plants. These green beings that surround us are truly remarkable. They stand silently day after day, turning sunlight into life. They don't move, they don't make noise, but they are working tirelessly to keep our world alive and thriving. Plants are the original solar power plants. Long before we invented solar panels, plants were capturing the energy of the sun and putting it to use, and they do it with an efficiency that our best technology can't match. They're also our planet's lungs, breathing in carbon dioxide and breathing out oxygen. Every breath we take is a gift from the plants around us. But plants are more than just oxygen producers or carbon sinks. They're works of art, painting our world in shades of green, bursting into colorful blooms, filling the air with sweet scents. They're feats of engineering, with intricate systems for transporting water and nutrients from roots to leaves.